All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Get ready for takeoff. Today, we're flying into the territory of P. Diddy. Sean Diddy Combs, I guess, is the name of the video today. I got this right here, ready to throw it if I should get mad. So like I said, get ready for takeoff. That's right. Today, we're going to talk about Sean Diddy Combs. Now, I've never heard of this guy. I have no idea who this guy is. And by the way, this is the first time we're using my new i15 Pro Max phone, and I'm shooting video with it. I'm doing it without a microphone, so we're testing the audio quality. Comment below, do you like the audio? We're going to do a playback on it. Like I said, Sean Diddy Combs. Now, I've never heard of this guy. I have no idea who this guy is. I really don't. But apparently, I asked my co-pilot. That's right. I have my trusty co-pilot with me today on this flight, as we're going into the destination of sex trafficking. Now, apparently, that's one of the things he's been accused of. So I asked my co-pilot, tell me everything you know about Diddy's legal situation. And this is what my co-pilot had to say. Sean Diddy Combs is currently facing serious legal issues. He has been indicted on multiple charges, including racketeering, sex trafficking, and interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that Diddy was involved in drug-fueled orgies. Surprise, surprise. That's nothing new to people. Coercion and prostitution with accusations of a cover-up. Folks, this kind of stuff has been going on for years in Hollywood and in our government. Shocking. I'm shocked. Totally shocked. Bill Clinton says, "Oh, I didn't have sex with her." What was the name of that woman? Monica? No, I don't remember now. Oh, Bill Clinton. Did you have sex with that intern? I think she was an intern. No, I didn't. He lied. He lied. All politicians lie. Did JFK have an affair with Marilyn Monroe? We'll never know. Comment below. What do you think of the audio on this video? Do you like the audio quality? Because we're doing this without a microphone, because I'm assuming we've got good internal mics here. The picture quality on my screen is very good, and I like it. So, okay, Diddy was arrested on September 16th, 2024, following nearly a year of investigations, which included home raids and several lawsuits alleging sex abuse and rape. And you thought Andrew Tate was bad. He's making Andrew Tate look like a good guy here, because he's been accused, but there's no evidence of Andrew Tate doing anything. It's all allegations. So we don't know about this either. Sex abuse and rape. His legal team, led by attorney Mark Agnifilio, is reportedly focusing on consent as a key argument in his defense. Consent. Did these young ladies consent? The situation has garnered significant media attention, with various public figures and fans reacting to the development. And my co-pilot has given me some articles. Diddy's lawyer is back in action. How Diddy's legal team will most likely fight his sex trafficking and racketeering. Okay, sex trafficking and racketeering. That is actually the topic of conversation for today, a little bit. I don't intend for this video to be very long. Boy. Let's see. Where do I want to go, though? Read people's comments. Now, on the idea of sex trafficking, well, I live near Springfield, Missouri. And believe it or not, it is the hub of human trafficking. Why? We have several major interstates that go through the city of Springfield. It's located in the center of the country. We got 4 major interstates that intersect right there in Springfield, Missouri. 4 of them. And we got one going this way, another one going this way, another one going this way, another one going this way. We have several interstates, 2 airports, 1 major airport, plus we have a huge trucking industry there, major railroad system. Yeah, I mean, it's just connected to trucking, railroads, airports, you name it, highway systems. Yeah, I can see why Springfield, Missouri is pegged as the hub for sex trafficking. I hope it's not that today, but at one time, it was considered. I did not know that. I mean, I lived there for years. I didn't see anything. You know? Let's see. YouTube.com. Several people have made comments on Diddy's situation. Like I said, I didn't even know who Diddy was. But he is not alone in what's happening here. I can find the video I'm looking for. The P. Diddy situation. Here we are.
The arrest of Sean Diddy Combs is just the tip of the iceberg. Another powerful elite figure brought down
Can you
not
hear that?
because of a sudden outburst of morality from law enforcement, but because too many pieces of the puzzle have fallen into place. The walls are closing in, and this story has deeper roots that link to none other than Jeffrey Epstein, the infamous financier who acted as the ultimate.
Jeffrey Epstein. You really think he hung himself? Come on. You really think he hung himself? I don't think so. Yeah, there's more to that than meets the eye. Wow. Epstein, yeah, he's guilty. But this sex trafficking, I don't understand it. Here's what I don't understand about sex trafficking. I don't understand why people feel they have to have sex slaves. And they use little children. I don't understand that. I just can't comprehend why you would want a child as a sex slave. They're not developed mentally, physically, or any other way. I just don't understand that. How? I don't get it. I just don't. I mean, come on, we're men. I understand you like beautiful women in bikinis. Who doesn't? But children? Little kids? What would you want with them? I just don't get it. It's sex trafficking not only falls on the men, but it falls on, there's women involved in this too. Take Allison Mack from Smallville fame. Oh, she's got one up on the men. Not only did she traffic young women, but she had a branding iron and she would just brand them. Look it up. Allison Mack, Nixium. She got mixed up with this cult called Nixium. She started trafficking young women. Yeah. And she's a female. So it's not just men doing this, but women as well. Like I said, Allison's got one up on them. She actually branded them with like you would with a cattle iron. I kid you not. Look it up. Let's listen to the video a little more. We're going to go through some of the comments. We're already up to 9 minutes. Like I said, I'm filming this with my iPhone 15 Pro Max. Why not? With the first studio video.
Middleman between the ruling elite and their darkest desires. Sean Combs, now sitting behind bars after a grand jury indictment on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering, is alleged to have been running a criminal enterprise for over a decade. This so-called entertainment mogul, much like Epstein, used his position, wealth, and connections to exploit vulnerable women, creating a system of control that has parallels to the same underground network Epstein curated.
I'm sorry, this is not a new thing. This has been going on for years and years. It's not just P. Diddy. Celebrities and presidents of the past have all done this. Even King David himself is guilty of this. Not necessarily sex trafficking, but he saw little Bathsheba taking a bath underneath his balcony. Now, you know she did that on purpose. He goes, "Wow, hot to dang. Who's that?" His buddy comes in and says, "Well, sir, that's Bathsheba. Wow, she's beautiful." And he goes, "Well, that's Uriah's wife. Uriah's your best friend." "Really? Wow, she's beautiful. Send her on up." Yeah. Then he had his best friend Uriah sent to the front lines to be killed, so he can have Bathsheba all to himself, our hero. So this idea of sex trafficking, slavery has been going on for centuries, since time began. This is not a new thing. But for some reason, P. Diddy got caught. Comment below. What are your thoughts on P. Diddy? Why is he suddenly been caught? Why are they focusing attention on him? There's people just as guilty as him. I don't understand. Is this a wag the dog situation? Please pay attention to P. Diddy while your government screws you over here. Is there something else going on we need to know about? Is this, like I said, a wag the dog? They're saying, pay attention to this, look over here, but don't look over here. Let's get back into the video, and we're going to go over some of the comments.
The victims are not just women forced into grotesque acts. No, the victims are
That's not a new
society
thing.
itself, manipulated by these so-called pillars of culture who use their power to cover up their heinous deeds. What we need to talk about, and what the media refuses to discuss, is how deep this goes. It's no accident that Combs, just like Epstein, cultivated relationships with the global elite. How do you think Combs rose to such prominence in the first place? The music industry is not a breeding ground for philanthropists. It's a breeding ground for control, manipulation, and power. Like
I said, this is not a new thing. The auditions to become a recording artist, you either sign a deal with the devil, you have to sleep with somebody. This is not new, folks. This is the industry as a whole guilty of. I mean, not all musicians fall into this trap in other countries. Their music business may be different than ours, Sweden, Norway, Germany. But here in the United States, it's really corrupt over here. We've got it the worst than anywhere else in the world. It's really bad. I've heard horror stories. I've got a story on my Spotify podcast about a young lady caught up in this world. And her story, it's horrifying. It just is. Let's get back into the video. Like I said, folks, this is nothing new. Don't act surprised.
Or brokering. Epstein didn't just serve his own sick desires. He was a broker of secrets, a man who connected the rich and powerful, making sure everyone had dirt on each other to maintain the balance of power. Combs operated in a similar fashion. The freak-offs, as they were called, were elaborate, multi-day events designed to degrade and dominate, a spectacle of exploitation under the guise of excess. Who attended these events? We're only beginning to uncover that, but you better believe it's the same types who were shuttling off to Epstein's island. Business moguls, celebrities, politicians, all engaging in acts they hope never see the light of day. The most chilling part, Combs didn't just use coercion or violence to control these women. He used narcotics, wealth, and the promise of fame. It's all part of the same method of...
Similar stuff is done when you join a fraternity. I've heard of Skull and Bones and fraternities like them that do stuff like this. I was in a fraternity, but we never did anything this dark. I mean, they know your deepest, darkest secrets, and that's how they gain your loyalty. On top of love bombing you, and what's love bombing? Well, they make you feel special. They invite you to all their parties and events, and you'll do anything to stay in that bubble, to feel loved, to feel important, to be a member of that fraternity, that family, that organization. You'll be as loyal as can be. Secondly, if you try to rat them out, they'll rat you out. They'll expose you. So it's kind of that's always existed, but in Skull and Bones, it's even more prominent. And societies like them. Unfortunately, this is how they've always operated. Power and control. Absolutely.
Control we've seen time and time again with the elite. Epstein gave the powerful what they wanted and recorded every piece of it for leverage. Combs, it seems, followed in those footsteps, recording the most depraved moments to ensure loyalty through fear. This is about control, pure and simple. Just as Epstein operated his sex trafficking ring to blackmail the rich and powerful, Combs has been doing the same under the cover of fame. The deeper we dig, the more connections between these networks become obvious, and we're about to unravel something much...
Now, doesn't this sound familiar? When I first came across this story, I was thinking of something that happened back in the late 80s and early 90s with all of these daycare centers. Remember that situation that broke out? These daycare centers are practicing witchcraft, and they're doing horrible things to your kids. And they were also accused of sex trafficking, which turned out to be not true. It may have been true for one, but not for all of them. Remember the paranoia way back in the day of, daycare centers? You couldn't take your kid to a daycare center because you thought they were involved in witchcraft or performing ceremonies on your kid. Remember that? You need to look that up. That was a real thing back in the, I think, late 80s, early 90s. This was going on. Yeah, that's what this reminds me of. It was a big conspiracy back then. And people were really paranoid. And a lot of it turned out to be not true. Now, I don't know how true it is with Diddy. I don't know how much of this is truth and how much of this is not true. Like Andrew Tate. How much is true, how much is false? Made up lies. We don't know. I don't know. Is P. Diddy completely innocent? Probably not. I'm sure he's guilty of he's definitely not a choir boy. I wouldn't, he's flawed, obviously. He's probably put on some sex parties, but most of you rich and famous do. Remember Studio 54? How many of us are old enough to remember Studio 54? Orgies and stuff happen all the time. Skinny dipping parties. Hey, I was a frat boy. Yeah, these things happen. But it was all consent. No one was forced into anything, at least not to my knowledge. Is P. Diddy innocent? Not 100%, no. No, I'm sure he's had some wild parties. Who doesn't? Come on, we were teenagers once. Let's get back into Sean Combs. Let's find out what's going on here. Come on.
Much bigger than one man's crimes. Now, we established that Sean Diddy Combs wasn't operating in isolation. His empire of abuse, manipulation, and control mirrored the very mechanisms Jeffrey Epstein used to entrap, exploit, and blackmail the world's most powerful. But here's where it gets even more chilling. These two figures are part of a global network of elites who have preyed upon the vulnerable for decades. What do I mean by
You mean
global
centuries
network?
and millennia.
Let's dive deeper. Epstein was notorious for his little black book, an address book of names that included billionaires, politicians, and
Not a new
celebrities
thing.
from
I'm
across
telling you,
the
this has
world.
been going
The
on for
reason
centuries.
This book is so crucial is that it wasn't just a collection of contacts. It was a map of influence and leverage. Epstein had the goods on these people, and he used it to protect himself and grow his influence. Now, guess who also maintained a similar web of influence? Combs. Think about how many major players in the entertainment industry, producers, executives, artists, rose through the ranks with ties to him. It's all part of the same game of power and control. Sean Combs' alleged involvement in sex trafficking and the production of these so-called freak-offs is straight out of the Epstein playbook. These events weren't just about indulging in depravity, they were rituals of dominance with the added layer of recording for blackmail purposes. This isn't just speculation, it's what the court documents themselves reveal. Combs' use of coercion and threats to control the women in these situations points to an eerily similar structure to Epstein's Island, where victims were trafficked and their silence was guaranteed through fear and manipulation. The real question we need to ask ourselves is, why did it take so long to catch him? This isn't just about one man. Epstein got away with his crimes for so long because he had people in high places pulling the strings, making sure justice was never served. The same could be said about Combs. He's been at the top of the entertainment industry for decades, shielded by his wealth, connections, and the powerful who benefited from his silence. When Epstein's Island was exposed, it wasn't just Epstein who was on trial. It was the entire system of elites who used their positions of influence to shield themselves from accountability.
One of these days, the whole thing's going to come crumbling down. But, you know, you can go after Diddy. You can go after maybe some of the people on in this little black book. There'll be somebody else, just as crooked. You don't know what's going on down the road from your house, do you? Do you know everything your neighbors are doing? You're probably better off not knowing. I guarantee it, you're better off not knowing what your neighbors are doing. I don't want to know what my neighbors are doing. They don't speak English anyway, but I don't want to know. Shit. There's things that go on all the time. Ignorance is bliss. I'll take ignorance any day. I'd rather be ignorant. I don't know. I just don't know what to say. I don't get it. I don't understand why people think it's necessary to traffic human beings. What kind of person would do this to another person? Let me ask you this. What kind of a scumbag would you have to be to traffic another person? Slavery, human trafficking, selling people for sex, selling little kids. That's I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. Comment below. I just don't understand. I don't understand any of this. You know what the good book says should be done? And I agree completely. This is something I thought should be done. I didn't know that the big guy upstairs agreed with this. You know what we should do to these guys? Drop them to the bottom of the sea. I'll do one better. I'll stick someone like P. Diddy in a burlap sack. If he's guilty of these things, he's taking advantage of little children, he's taking advantage of young women, stick him in a burlap sack. Get this. It's not enough. Just drop him to the bottom of the sea. Oh no. No. I'll do more than that. I will stick a monkey, a wolf, and a cobra in the sack with him. Tie the sack, put some rocks in there, and drop it to the bottom of the sea. He's in a burlap sack with a wolf, a cobra, and a monkey. Think about that. Dropping to the bottom of the sea. What do you think that monkey's going to be doing? What do you think the cobra is going to do? Might involve a little venom. Yeah, he's going to suffer on his way down to the bottom. Painfully. Yeah, it's not enough for me to drop him to the bottom of the sea. No, that's not good enough. Not for me. Scumbag like him, I just don't understand it. I don't understand why one human being would do this to another human being. I don't get it. It just, it's beyond me. It fathoms me. Let's see. Let's go on with the video. I just have something to say. It's like, guys like him just, I want to do more than that even. I've got another solution. I don't know if I should say this on YouTube. Let's play the video, because what I've got next, I don't know if it's a true story this actually happened to somebody, but I've got another solution for perverted men like this. And this is even more gory. But let's play the video. I'll come back to my second solution here in a minute.
Now, with Combs facing similar accusations, we see the pattern repeating itself. Those who were close to Epstein had connections far.
I don't think he's going to have an
industry,
accident like Epstein did.
We know Epstein courted famous people, models, musicians, actors, who were drawn into his orbit. The connections between Epstein's world and Combs suggest that the entertainment and political elite have been protecting each other for years. So here we are, at the final stage of understanding how Sean Diddy Combs, Jeffrey Epstein, and countless other elites are not just isolated cases, but pieces of a well-coordinated global power structure designed to protect the rich and powerful
I believe
from
it.
facing real
I totally believe
consequences
this.
for their actions. The scandals surrounding both of these men reveal something far more insidious about how deep corruption goes in our society. Let's take a step back and look at how
Cain
these
killed his own
networks
brother.
operate.
We've been
When
corrupt since
Epstein
the
was
Garden
first
of Eden.
exposed, it became clear that his so-called friends weren't just bystanders. No, they were active participants, people who benefited from his ability to cover up dirt, exchange favors, and silence those who posed a threat to the system. The same thing is happening right now with Combs. We're seeing lawsuits stacking up against him, accusations of sex trafficking,
Why are they after him all of a
exploitation,
sudden?
and even violent
Who did he
coercion.
piss off?
Yet despite the severity of these claims, the wheels of justice move slowly for the elite, because there's too much at stake for those who've been complicit in these activities to let the truth come out. Behind the scenes, you can bet that strings are being pulled to minimize the fallout. Powerful figures from the entertainment industry, politics, and business are undoubtedly working overtime to distance themselves from Combs.
I
just
bet
like
they
they
are.
did with Epstein.
I wouldn't want anything to do
The
with
question
him.
we need to ask
Or
ourselves
anybody
is,
like him.
who's protecting him? You see, this isn't just about one man. It's about protecting an entire class of individuals who've
I bet it
profited
is.
from human exploitation for years. This class has always used their wealth, influence, and connections to shield themselves from accountability. Look at how Epstein's death was labeled a suicide under extremely questionable circumstances.
Oh yeah,
The truth is dangerous to these people.
he was.
And now, with Combs facing serious charges, the elites are scrambling to rewrite the narrative, just like they did with Epstein. The elites' endgame has always been control. They use media, law enforcement, and political power to ensure that they stay at the top, no matter what. We're seeing this right now in how the mainstream media has carefully managed the story surrounding Combs, making sure the more disturbing aspects of his crimes are downplayed. It's the same old trick they used with Epstein, pushing
Downplayed?
the narrative that these are just isolated incidents
I mean,
and not part
upplayed.
of a larger
That's what
web
sells.
of exploitation. But we know better.
Dirty
Combs'
Laundry.
case
Remember that
is
song,
not just
Dirty
about
Laundry?
one man's downfall. It's a symbol of a much larger system that stretches across industries and borders. It's the same system that protected Epstein, and it's the same system that will continue to exploit the vulnerable until we shine a light on all of it. As more victims come forward, The cracks in this system are growing, but make no mistake, the elites are doing everything they can to cover their tracks. Here's where we are now. With every new revelation about Combs, we get closer to exposing the entire rotten structure. Epstein's
But there'll be
downfall
another
was just the
Epstein. There'll be
beginning,
another P.
and now
Diddy.
we're seeing the continuation of that battle with the
It's kind of like the
exposure
war on
of
drugs.
Combs' horrific actions. But don't be fooled. This system is not going to give up easily. The real question is, how many more elites are hiding in the shadows?
Who will
waiting
replace
for
him?
their
There'll be
time to
another
come?
Diddy. I guarantee it.
The people
Another
must
Andrew
keep
Tate.
pushing for the truth, because if we don't, they will continue to control us through deception and fear. We have to ask ourselves, who else is out there operating under the radar?
Many
just
more.
Like Combs
I
and
guarantee
Epstein
it.
once did.
There's many more
fight for
operating
truth is
under the
far from
radar. I assure you. Okay, let's go through the comments here. That's what people are saying. This guy's saying they won't escape God's wrath. No, they won't. Like I said, I didn't know who Diddy was. I've never heard of the guy until I came across a couple of videos and go, what? And it's all sex trafficking. I remember the Allison Mack story. Allison Mack from Smallville fame. She was Chloe on Smallville. Like I said, she's one up on these boys. She took a cattle prod and she tattooed these women. She branded them. Oops. I don't know if I can get it back on there. Like I said, Allison Mack took a cattle prod and branded those women. She's one up on Epstein, one up on P. Diddy. And she's already out. Yeah, she served a couple of years and that was it. The devil is real, so God is... The devil is real, so is God. It's time to seek God and ask Him to come into your life. Christ is King. The scariest part about all of this, they'd rather start a nuclear war than go to prison for their crimes. P. Diddy didn't kill himself. Thought I would say it before it happens. That's a good one. I like that comment. Investigate Oprah and Obama, all in the same club. Probably. Probably so. Like I said, you're not going to end corruption. The world has been corrupt since the fall of Adam. That's my opinion. That's my take on it. And this is the condemnation that light has come into the world and men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. Jay-Z and Oprah are next. It wasn't just women, boys, girls, men, women. Like I said, it's not just men involved in this trafficking ring. Like I said, Allison Mack from Smallville fame was involved, and she's already out. She didn't get a lifetime sentence, and look at the things that Allison did. She's one up on Epstein. Yeah. It's all unraveling. Praise God. This guy says, to whom it may concern, you can run and hide all you want. When you take your last breath, judgment will be served. So it is written, so let it be done. Yeah, that he's correct. Boy, these people are religious in these comments, I've noticed. The dark is coming into light. Continue praying, my brothers and sisters. We are all prevail. The thing is one goes down, another one will rise, but Jesus is relentless. Another one. Like I said, this is never going to end. This has been going on for centuries. And people act like it's a new thing. Look at Bill Clinton. What was that woman's name? Monica Lewinsky? Was that her name? Oh, I didn't have sex with her. Yeah, sure. Even King David himself, a man after God's own heart, the apple of God's eye. Yeah, look what he did. If you want to get historical context, what about JFK and Marilyn Monroe? Did he have an affair with Marilyn? We don't know. But she died mysteriously too. Was there a cover-up? These cover-ups, they go back for decades. About Princess Diana, what was going on? Well, I don't know. That may be a separate thing, but what happened to Marilyn is all part of this. And that was decades ago. Think how long this has been going on. I'm just saying. Like I said, I've never heard of P. Diddy. I've never heard of the guy. I barely know who this guy is, but he's making headlines. I thought I'd touch up on this and put my own spin on it. And, I thought I'd play someone's video that could actually explain what's going on. It's only 10 minutes long, so it didn't take up a lot of time. Biden and Obama for sure. I don't know about that. Blackmail is their currency. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree there. I wrote this poem recently, Diddy's Downfall. Okay, there's a poem. Someone wrote a poem. Really? A whole poem? All right. Let's read this poem this woman wrote. Diddy's Downfall. Oh, shoot. Scroll down. Get back to that poem. Someone wrote a whole poem. All right. Let's read this poem. A rapper from Harlem came up in the game. A self-made gangster looking for fame. He shot up in the charts with Maze by his side. Can't nobody hold me down, not even a bride. A roaring lion with unlimited power, prowling for someone that he could devour. Wow. He said, I need a girl to ride, ride, ride. But now we all know that he lied. Gosh. Okay. The history of hip-hop, he rapped with the best. One by one, they were all put to rest. Blood sacrifices to get to the top. Sex, lies, and tapes, nobody could stop. Wow. He crept in unaware, a spirit of old, ordained by the devil, a heart that grew cold. Wow. That's incredible. A house full of cards, a wicked empire, just took one match to set it on fire. The whole house of cards. This is a good poem. Do what thou will, as above, so below. Be careful in life, you reap what you sow. All about the Benjamins last for a while. Pride and lust eventually go out of style. Wow. That's a powerful poem. Share this video, if anything, just for the poem. So we're already up to 40 minutes by the time we combine the two videos. So this video was longer than I anticipated. We did go over some of the comments. We just read this woman's poem. What do you think of that poem? A rapper from Harlem. Wow. Like I said, this is my first time shooting video in my studio with my new i15 Pro Max. And just to test out the audio, do I need a microphone? I'll probably still get one. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And thanks for coming on this flight. And I'm getting ready to shoot another one right after this one's done. And anyway, thanks for coming on board. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you... And anyway, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, share. This is not exactly a scripted video. Like I said, I'm not as professional as some of the other YouTubers. You're just getting little old me. I want to thank everybody for watching. I thought I would do a spin on P. Diddy because I didn't know who he was. I still don't know. Not really. I'm not familiar with this guy at all. But the topic of sex trafficking, yeah. Yeah, I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. So comment below. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the poem? What are your thoughts on Allison Mack? What are your thoughts on the sex trafficking industry as a whole? Because you can lock him away and the problem's still going to be there. Because the demand is there. And I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.